Shalom, shalom, Yasharallah. I want to start off by saying I give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Amashiach, Yahweh Shai, Barakathai, the Hawah for the Rakah Kodash. Okay, this is part two. Part two, Yasharallah. Okay, Judge Mathis being that hypocrite. Okay, so we're going to watch these videos. And we're going to bring out some precepts to edify the hopeful elect of Yasharallah and the 1/3, which is the 1/3 and 144,000. Once again, we make these lessons for the hopeful elect of Yasharallah, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans with Indian, Taino, Negro descent by the seed line of your father, Numbers 1 and 18. And 144,000 of Yasharallah, the government body who will rule in the new Yasha. Okay, so here's another sellout. Okay, Judge Mathis. Okay, bashing the so-called black man. Okay, about what he needs to be doing here in America, in the daughter of Babylon. And you women of Yasharallah of Israel, y'all have sold out. Okay, y'all real liberal. Okay, as it say in the book of Isaiah, chapter 32 and verse 8, we might bring that precept out, Most High will. Okay? All right? You Eves are too liberal here. Okay? All right? Okay, so let's check out these clips. We got 2 clips to check out, and then we're going to bring out some precepts.
Sit back watching ESPN for playing your video games and sending your woman out there to go and march and protest and fight for voting rights, registered voters, out here protesting.
And Jake not sending his wife to go and vote. Eve take that upon herself to be a part of this democratic system. So that's a lie right there. Okay? Because Jake not sending Eve to go vote and be a part of that masquerade, part of the shenanigans. And as an Israelite, you're not supposed to be voting anyway. Let's come out with the book of Deuteronomy 17 and 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king, and the king is a monarch male, a leader, a ruler of the people. Okay? All right? Over thee. So that cut out voting. If you a so-called black man, a so-called Latino man, Native American man, first and foremost, if you the house of Yasharallah, you're not supposed to vote for nothing, for no mayor, for no governor, no president. Okay? You're supposed to be trusted in Yahweh by Hashem, Amashiach, Yahweh Shai. I'm gonna show you through the precept what Israel's supposed to be doing. Not voting, because voting have not done shit for our people. Voting have not done anything for the nation of Yasharallah. Okay, let's read this again. Let's be redundant. Deuteronomy 17 and 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Elohim, thy Yahweh, by Hashem Amashiach Shai, shall choose. One from among thy brethren. So your king, your ruler, supposed to be from among the house of Yasharallah, whom Yahweh by Hashem Shai shall choose. Over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger over thee. So a non-Israelite would be a stranger. These heathen nations, they are strangers. They have strange gods. Okay? They have strange customs. Okay? So Israel, you're not supposed to be voting no way. So if you ain't voting and you have not voted, we'll continue to stay on that path. All right? Now let's go to the book of 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. Because through our precepts, we get understanding. We're going to show you what Israel's supposed to be doing, not voting. 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. If my people, which are called by my name, Yahweh, by Hashem, Amashiach, Yahweh Shai, and Yasharallah, right, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. That's what Israel's supposed to be doing, not being at the voting ballot, okay? Because these people are not elected anyway. They are selected, okay, decades in advance. All right. So Israel, you got to get with Yahweh Bashar Masha Yahweh Shai Barakatai, or you ain't gonna make it.
The majority of the Black Lives Matter marches were black women and white kids, while black men sat back and each other, falling into this trap that they have set for us by failing us in our education system, bringing in and sending out the jobs. And you chumps are going forward like a bunch of suckers. And you're supposed to be cool. You're supposed to be the man. No, you ain't no man. Ain't nothing. You's a punk. Until you stand up and fight for your women, stop sending them out there, turn the TV off, go out there with them, sit down, stand up. Everything our black sisters need and our families, give it to them. Otherwise, brothers, you don't matter.
And Judge Mathis is a beta male. He's not an alpha male. They deal with their wives being over them, okay? A happy wife, a happy life spirit. Look, if you in a happy wife, happy life spirit, you ain't gonna make it. If you a beta male, you ain't gonna make it. Because the Yahweh Shah say he's Alpha and the Omega. You have to be an alpha male in this truth. Okay? You can't be a lion in your house, but you have to be in the alpha male spirit. Okay? You got to be an austere man in this truth. Yahweh Shah is an austere man. You have to be austere, and you have to be an alpha male. Okay? And this is a beta male, and this man is very effeminate. Okay? All right? So let's continue on.
Child, Judge Mathis said an effing word, and I want to make my commentary very brief because it's not much to follow up with. This was a portion of Judge Mathis's speech at the EMG Foundation in his hometown of Detroit, where he was being awarded. He really let black men have it and just told them nothing but the freaking truth. How many black women have you guys heard say the same very things and yet were accused of being black male bashers? Accountability is not bashing, and I'm glad that Judge Mathis stood up in a time.
When I make decisions as a leader, it's about the next 7 generations. Prop 27 will help small rural tribes like mine get a seat at the table. And
one moment, Israel. I have no control over the ads. 27. One moment.
Or a group that is criticized based.
Okay, so in one video, Judge Mathis is calling us chumps and suckers and punks, right? Okay, but in the same token, showing you the hypocrisy and how these wicked men of Israel are hypocrites, okay? He's okay with his son being the alphabet, right? And pushing forward the agenda, right? And he was part of the gay pride parade in Chicago. Okay? But he telling the Israelite men it's time to be a man. You see the hypocrisy? In one segment, he's saying be a man, don't be a chump and a punk. Then he's teaching is all right and he's okay with the alphabet and sponsoring the alphabets. When two men playing sword fight can't appropriate. And that's an abomination unto the eyes of Yahweh Ba'ashem Amasha Yahweh Shai. But this man has been compromised. He's causing Israel to error. Okay? All right? And he's made a covenant with Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And this would happen when you make a covenant, when you want the cares of this world, right? Okay? All right? Because you can't serve two masters. Matthew 6:24. You can't serve two masters, Israel. And this man, he's trying to serve two masters. And his master is Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And death and destruction is going to befall these 2/3 of Yasharallah. So let's check out this little clip, and then we're going to bring out some precepts.
The kids
are all back in the same city.
Okay, let's speed some of this stuff up, man, because we don't want to deal with all this foolery.
Now, look, we've been watching you on TV for years and years.
And look,
How did
this Jake,
boy
another
talk you
effeminate
into
Jake,
putting your
another
personal life
alphabet. You see,
out there?
our people is
Because
gone,
we used to you
man.
just judging everybody else.
Yeah, okay.
He's a con man.
Let's get through some of this, Israel. We don't want to watch all this.
So he came to us, don't you think we want...
Let's just get straight to the
My
point.
family had hesitations when you said, let's do a reality show and let's just, everybody's in.
Dad's been on TV for 23 years. If we want a platform, this is what we have to do.
100%.
And I think that everyone was a little bit nervous because we are a little bit crazy.
And if you want a platform, you have to sell out Israel to so-called white man, Esau, Edom. They control everything, right? The earth was given into the hand of the wicked, and he covered the judges in the faces thereof. Job 9:24. And the wicked is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, Malachi 1, 3, and 4. They the border of wickedness. Okay? And our people are finished, man. You see this panel? Nothing but wickedness is sitting on this panel. This is your Zechariah 13:8. You're 2/3 of Yasharallah. And they're going to be cut off and die. This is the two parts they're in. Live and direct, right?
But we just said, you know, we love each other.
But were there any, like, restrictions before y'all started taking,
Get
like,
to the point.
don't.
Just want to get to the
And then
point.
you want to...
But that's Detroit smooth right there. Okay.
So people do what...
That has a favorite.
I know he has a fit.
So similar.
You fell in love with.
You gay? What would you say? I said no. Man.
Anytime that my dad has even mentioned gay rights or the LGBT community on his show, there is blowback. And they really attack him.
Let me just stop you for a minute, man. It's hard for me to get past you having that feeling that you gotta tell somebody no, man. I never knew that. Never knew you felt that way.
That was actually one of my favorite moments from this past episode where you and Greg connect about his sexuality. What were you feeling at that moment when your son told you that?
Like I wanted to fight. Anger at people, anger at homophobes. That's how I felt. Felt like I wanted to fight anybody that would administer an injustice to.
So let's come out with some precept, Israel. You get the point, okay? You see the hypocrisy and the hypocrite. Let's bring out some scriptures, right? Let's start off in the book of Isaiah. Let's go to Prophet Isaiah, chapter 9 and verse 16. Let's bring out some precepts. Let's let Yahweh B'Shem Masha Yahweh Shah be true and every man a liar, right? As it say in the book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 30. So let's go to Isaiah 9 and 16, Israel. This ain't going to be long. For the leaders of this people cause them to error, you see? And they that are led of them are destroyed. So you following the leadership of Judge Mathis, you see? And these other wicked leaders amongst Israel pushing this agenda like TD Snakes and all the rest of these false prophets and so-called black leaders. If you falling and following after them, you're going to be led to be destroyed, Israel. You ain't going to make it, okay? You just ain't going to make it. Let's turn to the book of 1 Maccabees 1 and 11. Right? This is in the 1611 King James Version. 1 Maccabees chapter 1 verse 11. In those days when they're out of Israel, wicked men. You see, Judge Mathis is a wicked man because he's an Israelite, but he's a wicked one. Right? Who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. And the heathen was talking about Esau, Edom. Okay, this is during the time of the Grecian, during the time of Alexander, during the time of the Romans, under Vespasian and Titus. Okay, the heathen is talking about the so-called white man here, Edom, Idumea, that all round about us, and they doing the same thing today. That's why King David said there's nothing new under the sun, right? in Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. Right? There's nothing new under the sun. Because they doing the same old wicked things they did then, Israel. Okay? And make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Okay? And that's what's going on in the daughter of Babylon. Okay? So let's go to the book of 2nd Esdras. Let's stay in the Apocrypha. 2nd Esdras 15 and 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock, you see, to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, you see? Okay? All right? So that's what's going on, Israel. Okay? So let's go to the book of Job 27 and verse 8. The book of Job, chapter 27 and verse 8. For what is the hope of the hypocrite, you see? Because Judge Mathis think that his fame and fortune is going to save him. Okay? He think if he just go along and get along with the so-called white man to keep his fame and fortune, he's willing to do whatever he got to do. And that's even deceiving you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? By pushing this alphabet agenda. Okay, all right. For what is the hope, the Most High say, of the hypocrite? Though he had gained, so Judge Mathis, he have gained. Okay, he got his reality show. He been on the air for 23 years with the Judge Mathis show. Okay, you see, when Yahweh taketh away his soul. So you see, that's going into if a man gain the whole world, and that's lead us up to this next precept, Matthew 16:26. Okay, that take us right to Matthew chapter 16 and verse number 26. For what is a man profit if he shall gain the whole world? You see, that's beautiful setup through the spirit of the Ruach HaKodesh, and lose his own soul. Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? You see? All right. So that's what they have chosen, death rather than life. Let's go to Micah 3 and 11. Let's go to the book of Micah. Okay. Micah chapter 3 and verse 11. The heads thereof judge for reward. You see? Okay. All right. And the priests thereof teach for hire. You see, these men are hired. They are compromised, Israel. You see, they've been compromised. Right? Okay? And the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon the Elohim and say, it's not the Elohim among us. None evil can come upon us. You see? So let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 12 and verse 13. The book of Proverbs 12 and 13. The wicked is snared by the transgression of his lips, but the just come out of trouble. So, Israel, you got to continue in the ways. If you in this truth, you better stay in this truth, because that's going to be your way up out of this trouble. Because you got debt and destruction is finna before the daughter of Babylon. Okay? And if you're not running to Yahweh, who's that strong tower, let's get that in Proverbs 18 and 10, you ain't going to make it. If you following after leaders like Judge Mathis and them, you ain't going to make it. The name of the Elohim is a strong tower. The righteous, you see, the righteous running into it and is safe. Okay? He said the rich man's wealth is a strong city, and as a high wall is his own conceit. And that's the conceit of a so-called rich man. Okay? You see? So try to be a paper chaser and chasing after the money, because money is going to fail it, Israel. Money will fail it. Let's get Proverbs. Let's stay in Proverbs. Let's get Proverbs 11 and 4. Okay? Riches profit not in the day of wrath. What? Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from debt. You see? Okay? So you holding on to your gold and your silver, Israel, it ain't going to do you no good. We're going to come out with this last precept, and I hope that this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect of Yasharallah. Okay? Zephaniah 1:18, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Elohim's wrath. You see, that's the destruction. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. And I hope that this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect once again, and 144,000. Shalom.